I set myself the challenge to watch every single episode of Doctor Who from 1963 right up until the modern era and do it all in 1 year. So far we are this far through the 4th Doctor's era and this far through the show overall. We're in season 13, the spooky season. Answering a summons from the Brigadier, the Doctor, Sarah Jane and Harry land in Scotland and have to face off against a group of shape-shifting aliens who feed on the lactations of the Loch Ness Monster. I promise I'm not making that up. They suck on the Loch Ness Monster's breast milk. That's straight up how we're starting the season. Their plan involves shape-shifting into a number of important figures in the serial, including for a while Harry. Having been duplicated by an alien, Harry decides that travelling with the Doctor is a bit too much for him and he decides to quit. At the edge of the known universe, the Doctor and Sarah Jane land on the planet of evil, where a number of scientists are showing up dead. In fact, the scientists have been killed by a weird antimatter monster. One of the scientists, Sorensen, has been taking a special serum and turning into a creature called Anti-Man. Hopefully, the Doctor and Sarah Jane will not be considered suspects in this matter unless they happen to turn up next to a dead body, which they managed to do, of course, not once, not twice, but 3 times. By the time the leader of the expedition decides to eject them into space, you kind of have to just say fair dues. The Pyramids of Mars opens with Sarah Jane looking through the Doctor's old wardrobe and finding a dress worn by one of his previous companions. The Doctor gets all nostalgic thinking about Victoria. Ah, Victoria. Who could forget Victoria? Okay, I forgot Victoria the moment she was introduced, but still. The TARDIS gets pulled off course to Unit headquarters decades before Unit set up shop, where the Doctor and Sarah Jane will have to face off against Sutekh, an ancient Egyptian god who turns out to secretly be an alien. That's good premise, write that down. This serial's kind of unusual in that it's the first time anyone suggests, why don't we just leave? Sarah is from 1980. She knows the world doesn't get destroyed in 1911. If they just leave, what's the worst that could happen?
"1980, Sarah. Get up."
It's a trick!
That's the world as Sutekh would leave it.
Trying again to return Sarah home, the Doctor and Sarah land in a rural English village where everyone is unusually focused on routine and suspicious of outsiders. I mean, can you imagine? But it turns out this is not an ordinary suspicious rural English village. These villagers are actually robot duplicates created by the Kral. The Kral are planning an invasion where they replace half of the world's population with androids. They've even made a robot duplicate of Harry Sullivan. Again, Harry? Twice in 1 season? Do better. The Kral are being aided by a captured astronaut called Guy Crayford, himself a robot duplicate of Bennick from The Enemy of the World. Landing on the planet Karn, the Doctor and Sarah Jane must face off against Michael Morbius, a Time Lord scientist with an incurable blood disease who was executed by the Time Lords and now is trying to cure himself using a combination of bat DNA and stealing the Doctor's head to use in his weird Frankenstein body. The Doctor and Morbius end up in a mind battle where Morbius destroys Doctor Who canon by morbing all over the Doctor. I think some of those screenshots might not have been from the Brain of Morbius. I think they might have actually been from the similarly titled movie of all time, Morbius. The names are just so similar I got confused. I will do better in future, I promise. So we're really rounding out the season with this one. So far this season, we've had Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, mummies, the body snatchers, and Frankenstein's monster. So in this serial, we have an ancient alien that was frozen in the Arctic before being discovered by scientists. It turns out it's a plant which is killing people that feeds on human blood. It infects one of the scientists and grows to such a huge size that it has to be destroyed by the military. Ooh. Next season, let's do the most dangerous game. That's it for season 13. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. I'll see you for season 14.